Hello everyone and welcome to Adventures with Clive. And today we start off in the introductory zone on the Nautiloid. So the primary goal is to escape the ship, and the secondary goal is to collect as many void bulbs as we can. Alright, so before we get started, I did want to go over a couple of things, and I know I say this pretty often, but I think this will be a big help in the long term. Okay, I just wanted to quickly go over some UI things, we'll call them tips, that I think you would benefit from by knowing. And if you do know these already, great, you are ahead of the game. So the first thing we're going to do is hit I. I will bring up our inventory and our character sheet, and we can see that I am a ranger, that's the class I chose to start with, and I am a human, I get civil, militia, and all these different human things, and I chose beast tamer and bounty hunter. And we can hover over these things and see what they do. I can also go to my skills sheet and see all the skills that I'm good at. I can see that I'm good at survival, perception, and insight. Those are all skills that I'm fairly good at right now. And sleight of hand and stealth are also pretty good. And you can go to this detailed view and we can see that I am a human and I have the urchin background and other interesting information, such as the weapons I'm good at using. These are all weapons I am proficient in. And my armor class, I can see where the armor bonuses come from, 3 from dexterity and 11 from my actual armor. And also one fun thing is these tags. These tags are used in conversations to open up more conversational options. So that's also something that you can change. So when we change classes, that will change. If we change with this guy's self, that will also change our race. So that will give us the option to choose different options based on tags. And we can go there to see which tag options we have. And as well as seeing our good throws and our bad throws whenever we're trying to save for certain spells. Alright, so onto the inventory. There are a few things with the inventory that we can do that are very helpful. One is sorting. Another thing is filters. This is a more specific way of finding things. We can find all the arrows in the inventory. Specifically all the scrolls. These things tend to be a pain to find in your inventory, especially if you're in battle. And this search bar, so if we search up ice, it'll show all the things named ice in our inventory. And this is across all of our inventories, all of my characters' inventories. And so if we have ice of arrows in this character and another character, we can see the different ice of arrows. And you can also look at this inventories control section to get more hotkeys that you can look through. And if we were to, let's say, based on this hotkey list here, click on an item and hold shift, we can actually highlight a bunch of items in between the first item we selected and the last item we selected. That's a good way to select a bunch of items. So for instance, if we were to look for scrolls and we had 20 scrolls, we can select one and then select the last one and then move all those scrolls to our mage, and the mage now has all the scrolls. And you can also right click and you get different options depending on how many characters you have. You can select that character by name to send to. You can edit things to wares, so this will mark things to sell whenever you go to a vendor. And then we can also remove those things from wares. Let's remove everything from wares. And you can also drop items. So you can drop items, you can throw items from this menu. So a lot of things you can do with the inventory. So on to the bar below, the hotbar. A lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. You can sort by different types of spells and items and all that stuff. But one of the more important things that I want to show you is custom. And this will let you assign items and spells to a hotkey. And how you do that is you take the item and you drag it on top of the first level. And if you have this maxed out, you want to go back down to 2, because it's going to be really weird if you go higher than that. I don't know why they did that, but just make sure you're on 2 high rows here. And you can drag items onto the first 12 slots here. And so the first 12 slots will let you assign hotkeys 1 through equal sign to an item. And it also works for spells. So if we hit K and go to our spell book, we can assign spells. And when we're back into our normal hotbar selection, we can hit 1 and it will still use the item that we want. And this just makes it really easy to use these items. So I find that just a quick way to do those things. So hopefully these tips helped you out. I know that I use these pretty regularly. And the hotkeys really helped me out with trying to dive through menus to find specific spells. I can now assign them the hotkeys and then be done with it. Alright, so let's get into the game. Alright, so here we are in the Nautiloid, and really this is just a place that you can go and loot.
I've seen everything.
And there's a little bit of, there's a few things you want to loot. Like I mentioned before, we want to loot every void bulb that we can, every throwable item that we can. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. You usually find them on the dead mind flayers. And if we hold down Alt, left Alt, we can see the things that we can loot on the ground. Specifically the dead bodies. It doesn't work for everything, but it works for a lot of things. And so there's not very many things we can loot in here. There's a couple of things up here we can get to. Don't remember how to get to it. I think we have to go all the way around, don't we? Yeah, we have to go all the way around over here and go up here. So what I'm probably going to do is actually just skip a lot of me looting stuff. So I'm particularly bad about spending like 20 minutes just scrounging around for different things. And so it doesn't seem like very much fun, so I'll just skip that part. So yeah, we can see little hints about certain things thanks to the narrator. Yeah, so the narrator will narrate a lot of those little interactions. So another thing you could do is you can pick up a lot of things. You can actually right click and pick this up and add to wares immediately. So now if we go to a vendor and we can see that this is added to wares, and this thing will sell for 1 gold, which is not a big deal. I'm probably just going to drop this to be fair, and I don't really need that. But if there's like another item we can grab later on, like a glass sitting on the ground, we can just pick it up and directly add it to wares. So here's a chest and some gold here. You can also pick up chests. Chests are also incredibly heavy, so our bar went up quite a bit. But this will illustrate one important thing. So you see at the top right there's a plus sign here. If we were to, we can actually put things in these other containers that we pick up. And as we do that, this just means that the plus sign means we can open it. So it's a inventory item. There's no limitation to the number of rows you get in this. It's not, I don't think there is. At least for the pouches, I know we can throw in tons and tons of rows, and those rows will be added on as we go. So really the limitation is how much weight everything is. And another thing is that if we look at the chest cost, so chest cost 1 gold. If we throw in these 2 items, that chest now costs 81 gold. And that's because it counts the value of everything inside of it. So this is a great way, not using chests, but using other things, especially pouches. If you find pouches on the ground, just pick them up. They're very lightweight. And you can throw things in them just to keep things out of the main inventory window. And it is incredibly helpful to do that. And then of course you can also sell this and everything inside of it to a vendor. And it'll calculate all the value of everything within it. And it's just a quick way to sell stuff. So I wouldn't recommend with chests, but definitely with pouches. So let's just take all. I'm going to drop this. You can also throw things too. So if you have like a big item, you can just toss it. And that depends on how much strength you have as well. So that's a little bit about the mechanics and inventory in the game. I'm going to jump down here. I didn't jump down all the way. I'll take 1 damage. That's fine. Yeah, so a lot of this early area is just introductory stuff. So there's going to be just us going through each room, looting a few things, and talking to some characters, and trying to pass some checks. And there's another person here. Goblin. Another recording. We can just click on these and...
Images of goblins, their habits and histories flash into your mind.
Yeah, so we get a little bit of information about that. There's a lot of interactions you can have. Like, here's another one. If we hit the left alt, we see that these aren't popping up. That one does, but these don't. So some things will not pop up when you hit that left alt key. So just keep that in mind.
Flashes into your mind.
We can also pick that up. No, we can just examine. Yeah, so we can examine some of this stuff as well. You can examine quite a few things. That's important whenever we get to actual fighting enemies. Now here's a little check here we can do. This is a conversation we're going to have with this body, and we just go up to it and click on it. It brings up this little scene, and the scene is narrator talking and then you interacting with someone.
Yes, you've come to save us from this place. From this place you'll free us.
The exposed brain quivers in expectation.
So we get that perception check. That's popped up on the left here.
They return.
Who am I talking to, a man or a
A
brain?
newborn. Born new from this husk.
You realize you're talking to an intellect
Past another
devourer,
Arcana
minion
check.
of the mind flayers who abducted you.
I think you're past the point of saving. Tell me what to do.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
Okay, so we have a couple of checks here. Obviously, dexterity is my go-to. Strength is not really good for me. We can do investigation to get more information about it. Maybe make these checks a little bit easier. So if we hit this, we'll see that we have to roll a 10. That's a normal small check. And we have a +3 bonus. And we failed it, so we don't actually get this guy. And then we'll get this little scene. Us attempting to get this guy out of there. Yep, didn't work.
The brain won't budge.
So we have an option, just leave it or destroy it. It doesn't matter either way. Does not matter. We're good, so we're gonna not destroy it, I guess. And nothing else up there to loot. If you did pass that check, you actually do get a little companion that comes along with you and helps you fight things. But these fights are so easy, it actually does not matter. Okay, so let's go a little further on, and we'll talk with Lae'zel. The little cutscene. There's Lae'zel behind us, getting ready to jump.
Abomination. This is your end.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
My head. What is this? Skvar. You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
Okay, so we can tell her to join us. So we ask her, you know, who you are, or just what do you suggest, and that'll get us to the next section.
First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. We will address the matter of a cure for this infection once we reach the material plane.
Okay. Need to get these imps. Alright, we get the initiative. We have a higher dexterity, so that's not surprising. So we have this little arrow over here, and it tells us we're doing ranged. So it says our chance to hit is 95%. And that's because there's a 1 in 20 chance that you'll miss. So if you do roll a 1 with your 20-sided die, you will miss. That's called a critical miss. And then our damage is based on what our weapon we're using and some other factors. I'm gonna get a little distance.
Time to strike.
Just gonna kill this guy here. Alright, missed me. There's a lot of ways to get advantages and disadvantages in a game. If we have higher ground as a ranged, we get a better roll, better percentage to hit. But it does not matter because it's 95% right now. Just gonna get closer. When you get closer to a ranged creature, they get a disadvantage on their attacks. So it makes it a little bit easier to deal with them. Okay.
You proved surprisingly adequate.
Take all the stuff. We need some weapons ourselves. So we did get a crossbow here. Let's equip that. Let's equip the scimitar for a one weapon on a melee weapon, which we need. And this guy should give us some void balls. And so these things are what we can use to deal with large groups of enemies. And you don't get a lot of these in the game, but the ones you do get, they're pretty special. So we can toss this, and everything in that range gets sucked to the middle. This is very handy later on, especially when you're dealing with large groups of mobs and they're surrounding a particular character that you don't want them to surround. You can do that, or if you're trying to like knock a group of people off the edge with like the thunder wave, you can just group them to the edge with that void bulb on one of your characters, and then the other character can just thunder wave. So that's kind of nice.
We need to get out before it's too late.
Yes, so we get another short sword, so we can dual wield as a ranger. Let's go up here. And it's a thrall, so they won't have any void bulbs. And up here's the next section. Alright, get through this door. And we got Lae'zel, so now we get to talk to our friend here.
Touch nothing without knowing
But first, if we click on this console, we get some enemies. And the reason why we want to do that is because these enemies will give us XP. So let's make sure we're on ranged. 80%, and this is 80%. Yeah. So a slightly higher chance to miss, but not by much. Alright, and I should finish this guy. Nope, not quite. I thought she missed, I was gonna say. Alright, so we can kill those people, get some XP, just 10 each, not that big of a deal. And then we talk to this person here. This is gonna be Shadowheart, another companion.
we have no time for stragglers.
Look for a latch.
The construction is too alien. Nothing looks familiar.
This ship is crashing. Do you intend to die for a stranger?
And every once in a while, she won't say that, and then I don't know, I think it makes something happen between these two that they don't fight each other, because they do not like each other. So we can just say, I'll go look around, and there must be some way to get this thing open.
Try that contraption next to the pod. They did something to it when they sealed me in. Hurry! Please!
Alright, let's go do this.
The console appears dormant.
And we can look for a
The
switch.
mechanisms are completely unrecognizable at first, but then you spy an empty socket.
Okay, empty socket, so that means we have to find something that fits in there. I mean, you could hit it, doesn't do anything.
The console remains dormant.
Like, I was just like, dang it, I thought that would work. Alright, so I'd recommend always getting Shadowheart and always getting Lae'zel and having them join you in the beginning. to make some of the stuff easier. And there's a couple of things here. Dark Mind. We don't need that. There's a necklace here.
Faint images appear in your mind. A brain, a Githyanki warrior,
Okay.
and centuries of darkness.
Alright, so let's go in this room here. And this room has the stuff that we need. That's the key for that chest back there.
How many hosts of these gay infected?
And this is a person in here.
Dazed woman is trapped inside the pod. She doesn't
It's not
notice
terribly important, but if we come over here and activate this, we'll get some insight into the process that we're going through. So we place our hand on the console.
As you place your hand on the pod, you hear something. A presence connected to the pod, commanding the person inside to change.
So yeah, we activated the pod and gave the command for her to change into a mind flare. It's a small little detail, but it does come up in some conversations that we're going to encounter in the next
Change her.
couple of
Changed at the
hours.
pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
So that one little thing is a small branch that, you know, if you do this, it adds a little complexity to the storyline. There's a lot of those little branches that you go through. Take some more healing potions. And some stuff here. And we get this Eldritch Ruin.
This might unlock those controls next to the pod.
So that's what we need to use to open the control, or open the pod with the controls. Alright, so we go back and we open up the pod with Shadowheart in there. And that should get us another companion.
The console appears dormant.
Alright, insert the rune into the socket.
The console hums to life. But what is its purpose? Will it free the captive, or transform her like that other unfortunate?
And see, it gives you that extra little tidbit of information because we saw that the previous console did that. So let's just place our hand on the console.
Suddenly you feel
I know it opens it up.
squirming in your head. The parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
Alright, so we can will the pod open. And of course it's like we have a +3 and this is 2, so as long as we don't roll a 1, we're fine. So we rolled a 1 and that's a critical failure. So yeah, we didn't do it.
The biomechanical brain of the console process your command and reject it. Authority.
Okay, round 2. So we click on the Illithid Wisdom and will the pod open. So as long as we don't roll a 1, we should be fine. And we got it.
You feel the biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
And there's Shadowheart to join the party. Okay.
At last. I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Your mind lurches into her thoughts. Her gratitude is mixed with wariness, because you have a Gith with you.
You keep dangerous company.
We could pry a little bit, but she likes her secrets, so we can just say dangerous company's what we need in a fight.
Fair point. Looks like there's plenty of fighting ahead. Let me come with you. We can get off this ship and watch each other's backs along the way.
Alright then, let's get going. I'm Cal.
Shadowheart. One moment.
Alright, I would just, not even bother and just say, come on, time to go.
Finally. Let us make for the helm. We've wasted enough time already.
She's right. Lead on.
Okay, we got some more XP from that. We have to go down to the south, which is this way, I believe. And we can heal up if we need to heal up. Doesn't matter. And then this will take us to the next section. And this is going to be kind of the end.
We are nearing the helm. Once inside, do as I say.
Who put you in charge? I'll trust my own judgment.
Cane yank.
Yeah, so this could be the end of this particular part. So let's go through the doors. See a battle between the Illithid and the various groups of devils in the Avernus area.
Thrall, connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Alright.
We need to get
So we have to just go through a couple of rounds of enemies, and then other than that, it should be pretty simple. So we get a pretty nice bonus. You can see smaller guys. And we don't have a dash anymore, so let's just run around this dog here. And we'll have Shadowheart. She probably could deal with this guy pretty quickly. Yeah, so we should be fine there. I don't think she's going to be able to make it that way, so I'll just burn her dash. That'll get us double the distance. And, yep, let's stop here.
Take this ship. Orsario will have your
Okay, I think we probably could hit this guy. Yeah, nice. And I'm going to be able to just get to the middle, at least here. So just do a couple of rounds of movement and burn dashes when we can. And we don't need any other spells right now. These guys are going to fight for a little while, but eventually the Mind Flayer will die. At least in my experience, that's always been the case. You can try to get this guy's sword if you wanted to. You have 15 rounds to get to this console over here. So that is definitely very doable. You can usually get to it in like 4 rounds. Or maybe even 2 or 3. If you have your little friend with you, he helps a lot too.
Hurry, before they strike.
And let's go a little bit further. Yeah, he just takes so much more damage than this guy does. Commander Zulk. I don't think... Let me just try to do one full movement speed and see if I can shoot anybody from here. Oh yeah, I have the range. Nice.
Let's finish this.
And then she can get into range and use her guiding bolt. Oh, I missed that one. Alright. And I can't really reach any one of these guys, but I can go around them. You can try to make a path around them. And if you get too close to this guy, there's like a little arrow that shows you that he will attack you if you're that close. And it's next to his character, so we kind of want to go outside that range and skirt that. I don't think we have the movement speed to complete this. Or do we do? Okay, nice.
The helm's alien transponder. You've made it in time.
So we missed out on like 10 XP, but that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, we did connect the two transponders together, so this should go off. We're outside of Avernus now. Whichever character you make it to the end with, that's the character that's going to show up in this particular screen until you teleport out. Now we're back in the Forgotten Coast. Yeah, we're back in the Forgotten Coast. There's Minithara and I forget that guy's name. Extra number 1. And got some goblins. And then we're back to our character now, so we get to see the perspective from our own player. And we're saved before we hit the ground. Alright, so we have made it to the beach. We've completed the Nautiloid quest. So that'll be it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button. It helps a lot. And that's going to be it. In the next episode, we'll pick up from the beach. And we will continue on in our quest in the Forgotten Realms. Alright, I thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.